So let's talk about the future of Barcelona's attack and their midfield, because look, Barcelona is under construction. I do believe that if Barcelona can win the domestic treble, which is the Spanish Super Cup, the Copa del Rey, and also La Liga, and while at the same time being under construction, that would be amazing. But that would not mean that Barcelona is done rebuilding. I think that this team can get even better. And because we're going to continue to rebuild, we're going to continue to bring in brand new players who are young and players that can be one of the best in the world in their position. Just like how Xavi did say about Dembele on the right wing. Dembele is now the best right winger in the world. And so this club is on the hunt. They're looking for other youngsters. They're looking to see, okay, who's the next big thing? Who can accompany Pedri, Gavi, Frankie, Dembele, and other players? Which is why I want to introduce Abde, who is currently on loan at Osasuna, and also Florian Wirtz from Bayer Leverkusen. So this is going to be a very important video that I hope you guys do enjoy. If you guys are new here, welcome to the channel. Welcome to this Barcelona family. I'm happy that you guys are here. If you do want to support this YouTube channel, please like this video and also subscribe to the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. And so let's first talk about Abde, because the way that this player has been performing, we can safely say that this is a player that is doing very good on loan. And usually when Barcelona loan out their players to different clubs, they don't necessarily make it out, right? They don't make it out the trenches. Like look at what's currently going on with Lenglet. There's no way Lenglet is going to be returning. Look at Serginho Dest. I don't think that Serginho Dest is going to be returning either. Same thing with Samuel Umtiti and many more. I don't know about Nico. I don't know about Alex Collado. And so these group of players are falling currently in the category of the players that did go on loan 10 to 11 years ago. It's just historically Barcelona and their loanees never come out with a good conclusion. But with Abde, it's a very different story. His loan is very successful and he has been performing so well for Osasuna. And when you have players like that, you want a player like him to return and as soon as possible. And so that is why it does say here, according to Roger Torreo, Abde will do the preseason with Barcelona next summer. Then a decision will be made on his future depending on the club's economic and sporting needs. There is also a lot of teams that are very interested in Abde. And then as we continue here, according to Tony Juan Marti, the initial idea for Abde was to sell him and gain profit, but the club is now studying the possibility of keeping him next season, especially if Vitor Roque, which is a player that we have been talking about a lot recently, arrives and one of the forwards leaves. Xavi admires Abde and sees him playing on the left wing. So if Abde does return, it's a good move. And I can see why Xavi Hernandez wants to bring this player back, because I remember that play. And I think that you guys have seen this already on Twitter or like on Instagram. Abde was doing a counterattack against Bilbao. This was between Osasuna and Bilbao like a few days ago. And so they were doing a counterattack after Osasuna gained the ball back. They attacked the open spaces that Bilbao left behind. And you can see that the majority of the work that came through that counterattack to make a goal was coming through Abde. Abde basically did 90% of the work. The only thing Osasuna did was to basically steal the ball away from their deep area and then move on to the counter. And Barcelona, in situations like this, the way that Osasuna did counterattack Athletic Bilbao, Barcelona sometimes suffered, and especially when they don't have the players that they need. Like for example, that match between Barcelona and Real Madrid, can you and me like agree to this, right? Barcelona needed strong wingers to exploit those open spaces that Real Madrid were leaving, because Barcelona were on a defending block and they had no choice. Barcelona tried and they did okay counterattacking those open spaces, but again, we felt like Barcelona could have done so much better if we had someone like, let's say for example, Dembele and someone like Abde, because with players like Rafinha or Ansu Fati, they're just not the type of players that can tackle those open spaces and go on the counter and take on around 2 or 3 players. Abde can do that. Abde has done that, and we have seen that against Bilbao. Rafinha is not the type of player that can take on 2 or 3 players. He's someone that likes to receive in high areas and then shoot from outside the box. That is just the way that he is. Ansu Fati, for him, I think that he can do that. He does have that capability. It's just that mentally he's not there, and Barcelona need that type of winger and need more options in case one of our players are not physically doing well or mentally not doing well, or they simply just do not have the capability to do so. The only player that can take on 2 or 3 players and from deep areas and go on the counter and take those open spaces, it is just Dembele. And just like I've said before, Abde falls in Dembele's category. So maybe Abde may not even be a starter next season, but if Abde can be called back and be used as a super sub, that would be phenomenal, and it would show prominence to this player. And so Barcelona is very confident on him. Like Javi Miguel did report, the return of Abde has more consensus within the coaching staff than someone like Nico Gonzalez, and that's very surprising. Now, he has also stated that if the arrival of a 9 is confirmed, one winger would have to leave to make room for Abde. And this is where things get very interesting, right? Because if you were to ask me what winger should leave in order for Abde to arrive, I can't tell you basically nothing because I have no answer, because it's a very difficult answer. Now, coincidentally enough, like about 2 or 3 hours ago, like this report literally just surfaced. The report was basically stating that Ansu Fati and Ferran Torres do have a high chance of leaving in the summer of 2023, meaning in about 2 or 3 months. And this looks very much correlated to the story of Abde and his entrance. And so are we starting to see the full picture here? Could we see the club saying, okay, we're either going to be selling Ansu Fati or Ferran Torres to bring Abde in, and we can kill 2 birds in 1 stone? Because if you think about it, you strengthen the left wing area by bringing in Abde, and then you gain the funds from Ferran Torres or Ansu Fati, and you reinvest that into different areas, whether it's a midfielder or a defender. So Barcelona is all about killing 2 birds in 1 stone, or in other words, bringing in 2 brand new players by selling 1. Either way though, this summer is going to be crazy. I do believe that Barcelona is going to be making crazy decisions, but for the good of the club. I think that Abde is going to be returning. A big player, a big name will be leaving. But let me ask you guys this: if Abde continues on this form, and let's say that he scores about 3 to 4 more goals by the end of the season with Osasuna and provides about 2 or 3 more assists with Osasuna, would you bring him in and let go of a winger? And if you think that, what winger would you let go of? Would it be Ferran Torres or Ansu Fati? And so now let's talk about Florian Wirtz. And it does say here, according to sources within Germany, Barcelona are very interested in Bayer Leverkusen wonderkid Florian Wirtz and have already spoken to his father. Barcelona believe that he's a generational talent and have asked him for patience though. Wirtz adores Barcelona and he has a contract until 2027 and will be expensive, but Bayer Leverkusen are a selling club. So if you guys do not know who Florian Wirtz is, because I want you guys to have an idea on what type of player Barcelona are looking at, he is a attacking midfielder. He can also play as a left winger. He's very versatile, but he can play in multiple positions, but his main position, it is the attacking midfield position. Now, 55% of the time through the season, Bayer Leverkusen were juggling on 2 different formations, right? 55% of the time in the season, just to make it very clear. It is in a 4-2-3-1 system or a 3-4-3. These are 2 formations that Barcelona is very familiar with, but there are some tweaks, like let's say, for example, in the 3-4-3, Barcelona do form a 3-4-3 box midfield. But in the end, you can see that Wirtz does have some sort of experience and will have some sort of experience if he joins Barcelona and plays in their formation. But where will he fit and what's going to be his role? Because he is a pure 10. If you look at how he has been playing, he's a pure 10. He's everywhere. He's on the left wing, right side, in the middle. He receives the ball from the middle and makes those passes into the strikers. I can see this player playing in a 4-3-3 with Pedri and Wirtz and Frankie type of midfield, or if Xavi Hernandez wants to make it 3-4-3 for whatever reason, depending on the game, maybe we could see Frankie, Pedri, double pivot with Gavi and Wirtz as high interiors. We have seen a double pivot of Pedri and Frankie and it has been working phenomenally well. I thought that it wasn't going to work, but those 2 players, when you place them there, you just can't take the ball away from Barcelona when you have a double pivot of Pedri and Frankie. Now, how does Wirtz compare to Pedri and Gavi? And if we look at the pictures here, we can see that Wirtz is in some way superior in attacking qualities compared to the other 2, which is Gavi and Pedri. And obviously his numbers are going to be higher because he does have more assists than Pedri and Gavi. And then if we look at the key passing qualities, like passes into the final third, passes inside the box and stuff like that, like those very clinical, decisive passes, Pedri is just slightly better than Wirtz. And overall, you can see that if you rank them from top to bottom, Pedri's number 1, Wirtz is number 2, and Gavi's number 3. Gavi's a mix of, like, I would say, between these 2 players, but has way more physicality than Pedri and Wirtz. So just at the age of 19 years old, in 2023 alone, right, this year, he has had 7 starts, 2 goals, and 6 assists. Let's remember that this was a player that was out for about 10 to 11 months because I think that he ruptured his knee or something, or he went through a ACL injury or something like that. I remember that. Like, I remember when I was first starting this YouTube channel, I was talking about Wirtz and how he was going to be out for about 11 to 12 months or like 10 months, and we're like, okay, that's the end of this player. Barcelona were interested in him 2 years ago, but I don't think that they're going to be interested in him because by the time he does come back, you know, he's probably not even going to be playing the same. But what a comeback, right? What a comeback from Wirtz to be coming out like this after coming out from a long-term injury, right? Ansu Fati, take notes. Ferran Torres, take notes. So I would say he is a necessity for Barcelona. If they can get him, get him. Because when we saw Pedri out in the first 2 or 3 games, when he went through this injury, we saw some weaknesses from Barcelona. Barcelona lacked a lot of creativity, and that is where I think Wirtz can find his spot. But the biggest problem problem will always be how much is this player really? Because on the transfer market, he has cost around 70 million euros. And I don't think that Barcelona would ever pay something like that unless it's like for Kylian Mbappe or Erling Haaland. Or 70 million euros for a player of his caliber, I just don't see Barcelona ever paying that, even if Barcelona do eventually get financially healthy again. But like the report does say, Bayer Leverkusen are a selling club, right? They're very negotiable. And this is also another reason why Barcelona said, hey, Wirtz, we ask you for your patience. We're going to negotiate with Bayer Leverkusen. Yes, you are very expensive, but we can figure something out. And I hope that Joan Laporta can do that with Mateo Aleman. So that is going to be wrapping up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.